My name's Rudy J. Ferretti, as you all know. Not really much to say there. This is coming as a surprise show today. I'm going to go over a bunch of stuff. I will not be doing this show with a co-host because my last co-show host was basically a lazy bum. So it's going to be me by myself. So we're going to go over a lot of different things. Why the classic gaming scene has failed and why it continues to fail and why it's very much like Washington. So let's get into it right away. Number one, we've got a lot of smelly, bad-looking, no persona, no personality people. Most of them are left-wingers. They have no talent and no skill. It's been like that for years. When they came into this gaming scene, they figured they were with a bunch of slow people like themselves. YTG, which is now a defunct scoreboard, why it continues to fail and will always fail, and why it's failed to begin with. Number one, Donkey Kong was a big deal. It was the reason why Twin Galaxies became something and then became nothing very fast. Ownership was always a problem. You know, it all started with Walter Day and Billy Mitchell. The problem was, just like in politics, when you have Bushes and Clintons, running the show and bad Congress and everything, it's the same thing in gaming. It's just different. They only worry about the people who get on their hands and knees and do them special favors, whether it be money, corruption, collusion, whatever it is to gain popularity and fame. They don't care about who they leave out. They don't care about who they harm or who they hurt. And then what they do is they take the same fucking agenda and they recycle it over and over again, okay? And that's what's been happening in Washington for so many years, and that's why we have a non-politician president now, and why classic gaming has failed, and why real gamers and real talents and good looks have never gotten the popularity and notoriety, per se, that they should have. Okay? Richie Knuckles. He was a person, he knows how to be a business guy, but he doesn't have the talent that a gamer has. He doesn't understand the meaning of passion or doing something for the gamers or the gamers gaining notoriety. But what he does do when people are waving money in his face or, pretending to be something they're not, knowing how to do things and making things work out to their advantage, he'll hook up with those people. It doesn't matter how dirty they are, how evil they are, how disgusting they are. That's one of the reasons why Richie's had so many problems in his personal life, why he continues to stumble onto different things. And when you look at it, these people are just like politicians. They're doing the same thing. They keep stumbling onto different things over the years. Billy Mitchell had a lot of money and his name and with his hot sauce and everything, so him and Walter have been hooking up for years, and it's basically a form of nepotism, per se, because when you think about it, it was him and Billy for the longest time. And despite Billy was a fraud and Billy did not do the scores that he claimed and was not the video game player that everybody thought he was out to be. I mean, I had arguments with people, including stupid friends on my friends list. There are very stubborn people that are friends with Billy. And I want to make this clear. I was friends with Billy, Walter, Todd, you name it. I knew all of them before all of you knew anything about them, before you even picked up a fucking controller. Okay? And I didn't know what they were like at first. But I noticed day one 2002, 2003, when I came into the scene, I noticed that Billy Mitchell was all out for himself. He was shocked that I didn't know his name. And I've got pictures of him. I've got pictures of him with a girl I was with for 15 years. And there's pictures of me, Walter, and him. And Billy has paid me twice on 2 occasions because of his corruption. He wanted to make sure that nobody could beat his Donkey Kong score, even though he really never had a true Donkey Kong score himself. And I went out to Vegas, and he was at near the Tao restaurant, and I recorded Weeby playing on my video camera, and he paid me $100 and something for both my days going there. Basically, he paid me what I was making at the time when I was working at the Mirage, and he paid me via eBay. So, no, I'm sorry, not eBay, PayPal. So, if you want to know about how much he paid me or when, tell him, show you his eBay records, his PayPal records. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Of course, he probably won't. Another thing was a smelly, fat, lazy, unkept, slow person out of Denton, Texas, who never should have been in gaming, never should have been a referee, and is the biggest jump and jump and jump like a fucking jumping beam from place to place to place to place and destroys everything he touches. Kind of like Rumpelstiltskin. Pretty much, the opposite. Instead of turning everything into gold, turning it into shit. And, lied about scores, lied about his notoriety, lied about things he's done in the past, has hurt people, and continues to do the same thing and has gotten in so much trouble. These are reasons why classic gaming has failed. You've had people come in off the street thinking, well, let me come in and do this and do that and lie about this and lie about that because these people are just as dumb as I am and I can get notoriety. Tom Duncan was the biggest paper champion besides Todd Rogers and Billy Mitchell. I mean, Tom Duncan basically never did the scores that he said either, and it was him and Troy Whalen that went back and forth, verifying their own scores. This stuff continues to this day, but I wanted to start off from the top. Kat, the journalist of multiple personalities, and once again, back to the left wing. All these people are leftists and sick ones. Ones that don't even look up history, just like in gaming, they don't even look up history and politics. And all of them are anti our president and are only for the left side. Because you know why? They are in entertainment and they know that their careers can be in jeopardy if they don't get on their hands and knees and suck people off to get to where they need to be. Now, that does not mean I'm saying that they sexually get with these people. What I'm trying to say is they will do whatever it takes to get ahead. It was the same thing with Steve Wiebe. He was a high school scientist. He was a nobody. They picked him up off the street because they didn't like Tim Zerbe because Tim Zerbe didn't have the personality that they wanted. Because Tim Zerbe was like me, for instance, I had a great personality, great looks, and great skill. Tim Zerbe wasn't a bad-looking guy, and he had great skill, but his personality was rough. They didn't like the fact that people like me, myself, Tim Zerbe and certain people, Bill Bastable, didn't, do or say the things they wanted. They didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to be fake. I refused to be. And that's part of the reason why I never got the notoriety I deserved. It wouldn't have mattered if I maxed out Donkey Kong. It wouldn't have mattered if I maxed out Tetris. It doesn't matter all the scores I have. It didn't mean anything to them because I wasn't their little pet. And I wouldn't do what they asked me to do. I wouldn't go on and beg for donations and money. I would not donate to the fake Hall of Fame. I would not do things to pretend to be somebody I'm not, and I sure as fucking hell would not use my own money to gain notoriety or fame. I mean, it's just so disgusting. Another person out of Canada who takes dirty pictures of his underage daughter and then posts them on Facebook and makes her look like a grown woman, which several of us thought it was a grown woman he took a picture of, a glamour shot. And his name is William, and he lives supposedly in Subarctica and also Ontario, whatever, or Ottawa, Canada. And, one of his best friends, who's a good friend of mine, I'm not going to mention his name as a courtesy, but I don't give a fuck that I'm talking about this, one friend and one friend only, great friend of his and a great friend of mine, confirmed that he gave over 10 G's to the thuggish owner, custodian have you, of the current defunct scoreboard right now that's out of LA, that used to be out of Ottumwa, Iowa, and at one time, of course, Florida, New Hampshire under Pete Bouvier. Again, these are the reasons why Twin Galaxies is failed and why the classic gaming scene has failed. You bring in the wrong fucking people, you keep, using the same people over and over again, and you don't do the transparency. People's scores have been challenged that shouldn't have been challenged. Scores that weren't challenged should have been challenged. And even worse, now they're allowing people just to make up their own rules as they go along. Basically, he's a slave driver. He makes you do all the adjudication and verify the scores, gives you no notoriety. They never came out with a book. And he lied about reestablishing the relationship with Guinness that Grace Snoke destroyed when she cooked the books with my scores and tried to be in cahoots with Ryan Sullivan to go after my Nightmare on Elm Street score. And that's not mentioning, of course, Home Alone and Jaws and everything else that we could go on for days on. But that doesn't matter. We just leave it at corruption and collusion. And you can look it all up. There's nothing to hide. But I'm not going to do a whole show based on this. Pac-Man was overplayed, and Pac-Man was not done first by Billy Mitchell. It was another lie. The guy had all his scores removed. He threatened to sue. They figured all these lies and all this, what's the word I'm looking for? All this fabrication of accomplishments and achievements and who these people were and making them bigger than they were. They figured it would make it into a multi-billion-dollar organization, and they would narrow it down just like Congress and certain people in government want to do, narrow us down to 5% population and take control of the whole world. Well, guess what? In gaming, that's what Richie, Billy, Patty, fucking Pete at one time, Walter for sure, Joel, all these motherfuckers, including William. Well, we've got the money, and we know how to lie to people and fake them and make them dumber than they actually are, because the common people in gaming don't fucking know anything, and they don't even have a clue of how to think for themselves. They just believe everything they see and hear. And it doesn't even matter if they're conservatives. I've got a few conservatives in the scene with me that don't have a fucking clue and believe everything that Walter and Billy say because it sounds good. That's the problem. It's just like politics. Just because somebody sounds good doesn't mean they're telling the truth. Okay? And the sooner you guys realize that, the sooner that we can get through this. Credibility. The credibility of the scoreboard and Twin Galaxies and Guinness is an absolute joke. The fucking relationship was destroyed well before Gray Snoke with Ryan Sullivan. That relationship was destroyed when Walter was in play. When I took down TG single-handedly, and a man out of England actually took down the entire site, which was the funniest fucking thing in the world. When that all went down, that really showed what Twin Galaxies and Walter and Billy were really made of. Then it went and changed hands, and it went to several different owners. Pete, it went to Richie and Jordan. Then it went to Jace, and now they're concentrating on esports. They're forgetting the originals. They wanted to charge beforehand, and now they're basically charging for submissions now. They're doing it in code. You do a special achievement, you pay $100 for a certificate. These certificates are a joke. They're horrible looking. They're not even worth $25. Why should a person who accomplishes something on a site, who clearly has ads now making money and using the videos for money and notoriety, why should these fucking gamers have to pay for their own accomplishments? It's stupid. The challenge system was a good thing and a bad thing. As you can see, this is why things continue to fall, because you have the same people running the show over and over again, trying to make people do stuff they don't want to do, and banning people because they coughed up money. When William gave over $10,000 to Jace, I got rightfully banned, and so did other people. It was basically power. The ownership was ridiculous, and then no money for the gamers, no notoriety, and no bonuses, no nothing. And there's no motivation. And then the lies. The lies continued and continued. You see now that Isaiah, the money big e-bagger out of Jamaica, who used to be in New York, who claimed that that's what they do. They rob people in order to get money. I'd love to see one of him or his people come and try to rob me. That would be really fun. I hope when I'm in New York City, somebody tries to do that from his clan or wherever I go. It won't end well. So basically, it comes down to an agenda. All of these people, Walter, Billy, Joel, Richie, did I say everybody? Weeby, all these motherfuckers, Isaiah, had an agenda. Their agenda was to take control of the entire scene. Oh, of course, Grace, and people that don't matter, like Patrick. You've got Lonnie, a bunch of daily buzzers, Ken House, these people that played one or two games, came into the scene and pretended to be something they weren't, and, carried boxes and lied and got themselves into the Hall of Fame. It's an absolute joke. And if you look at the Hall of Fame, I've done more accomplishments than all of those Hall of Famers combined, except maybe a couple of them. And even them, I've played them and beaten them. They're nothing special, any of them. So there you have it. That's why the classic gaming scene has failed and will continue to fail. If you don't give equal notoriety to great stars and people and keep fucking, recycling the same shit over and over again, eventually the shit rolls downhill. You can't fucking keep doing Donkey Kong all the time and Kong-offs and worrying about Billy and Steve and everything else. Nobody gives a shit about just Galaga, Donkey Kong, and Pac-Man. It's fucking played out. And look at the whole concept of Donkey Kong. Look what happened. The same thing happened to Tim Zerbe that happened to me with Splatterhouse. I went out of my way. Did everything I could to get a legitimate board. I made a legitimate setup over there in the corner. I did everything I had to do, and I got fucked over and over and over again. Now they're allowing super guns. Well, if they allowed super gun, they should have allowed super gun, in the past. Give me a second. I mentioned a snack, I was thinking along the lines of cheese and crackers. That's so good. And chocolate hummus. Think of it as a commercial break. I'm getting old now, so I got to write down my agenda. Now let's go to Washington. It's the same concept. You've got one person pretending to be a fake Indian who's lied, got her notoriety, got into school because she faked her heritage. Look at Patrick. He stole money from people with his arcade business. He scammed people with their scores. He deleted scores. He created fictitious characters. He's done everything he could under the sun to try to gain notoriety. Got caught doing it and then was in complete denial. Never admitted anything he did wrong. That's the same thing Elizabeth Warren does, and Hillary Clinton, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Nancy Pelosi, etc., etc. Notice all these Congress people do the same thing as these fake gamers. And that's the problem. You don't have a lot of talent in the gaming scene. There's very few of us. They like people that don't have a lot of talent more than they like people that do have talent. Congress trying to destroy the country, trying to destroy the president. It's the same thing with me. William has never stopped. Ever since the comments that were made about his daughter that nobody knew that was underage at the time, basically people said, including Richie and other people, and Richie's been with underage girls. I've never been with anybody under the age of 21 ever in my life, including my adult life. The only time I was with somebody under the age of 21 was when I was in my teenager years and my first girlfriend was 17 years old and I was 15. I've never been into young girls. It's not my thing. Besides, I'm 40 now. How could I handle a young girl anyway? But seriously, and really, do I look like I need to worry about what I get? Give me a break. I mean, I know I'm better looking at all these classic gamers. There's not one person in the classic gaming scene, past or present, that doesn't even come close, but it doesn't even matter. Even right now, with my baseball cap on and my glasses and turning 40, whatever, it means nothing. It's a joke. So you got this fat slob out of Ottawa, Canada, named William, who lives basically off his wife, takes dirty, glamour shots of his daughter and cleavage and everything else, real appropriate, but then has the nerve to call me and others a pedophile and pedo and all that stuff, and then calls my radio show with Josh Houselander, who's a lazy fuck anyway, and calls the owner of the show out in Wisconsin, and at first he just wanted me to apologize to Billy Bob, and I was going to, but I got tired of the attitude of the asshole that ran the show and was not paying Josh or I. And, I got tired of Josh, being delayed with the show and whatnot and just not coming out and doing the show with me. And I've cut Josh out of my life completely. It was a very difficult thing to do, but it was time to do it. So just to make it clear, William thinks, well, I got the show taken down. No data suck. No data god. You didn't do shit. What happened was I had a problem with the owner, and I gave him an ultimatum to do this, or that, or it's done. He wouldn't do it. I told him to go fuck himself. So Josh and I stopped doing the radio show on that thing. What William doesn't understand, he's got no life. His best friend has confirmed this. He likes to make his little Raspberry Pi clocks, but he loves to follow Rudy Ferretti around. It's kind of sick, though. I had to almost get some higher up people in my life involved with this bullshit because it was getting to the point where he tried to go to Amazon with another friend and try to give a bad review on my book, which, by the way, we've sold almost 1,100 copies now of that book. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Halloween strategy book. And I want to talk to you, too, about that in a few minutes. I'm going to go to the Frequently Asked Questions page, which is on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Halloween strategic book for gaming. I want you to go see that because you can read our Frequently Asked Questions and find out the difference between the book and what you find on the internet. And I want you to do that. But like I said, we sold so many copies, and we were going to actually start a Kickstarter or an Indigo because we wanted to buy all the books at once and then sell them and make more money ourselves than to, do it the way we've been doing it off of Amazon. But the reviews just basically show what William is all about. No life and likes to follow me around. Giving a bad review on a book doesn't make it stop sales. If it did, I would legally go after him overseas because I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. He did me a favor when he paid all that money to Twin Galaxies because look what happened to Twin Galaxies now. There's 907 fucking scores in review. Nobody's reviewing. A bunch of nobodies basically are playing over and over again. People that are not great gamers, and nobody even cares about the classic scene anymore. And that's a good and a bad thing. It kind of makes me sad. But the reason I retired last year was because of all this. All the shit that was going on, I got tired of all of it. And I just wanted nothing to do with it anymore. I don't even play games that much anymore. I'm going to get back into it, though, because there's some games and scores I still want to capture. And so I guess you can call it coming out of retirement, per se, but not really. Honestly, again, if the loser thug out of L.A., where his father, should have been forced to wear a rubber before he was conceived because such an ill person, if this video is being watched by them, I do want those scores removed from your ill, disgusting scoreboard. You have no relationship with Guinness. You do nothing for the gamers. You do nothing for me. Nothing for all your great gamers that made Twin Galaxies what it was. And, you have losers that are on there that are just on there to cause drama and trouble. And I don't care about drama and trouble. I caused plenty of drama and trouble for years, and I got no regrets of doing anything I did when I was in gaming for that ill organization. But I do want the score. I don't want to be associated with such a loser community with all these low-life, smelly, ugly, homely people. I'm sick of it. I want no more association with it. I'm tired when people come up to me and they ask me, oh yeah, I know who you are. You're the big gamer. Yeah, I'm the big gamer. I'm the console player of the century. I have nothing to do with Twin Galaxies, Jace, Walter, Billy, any of those losers. And I tell people all the time, I know them all. I've associated with them all. I know them better than any of you punks do that are watching this video. And people, of course, that are my friends and fans and whatever, but neither here or there. Things should have been equal, and they weren't. I'm glad to be away from the defunct scoreboard. And the other thing, too, with William, he continues to try to follow me around. All he does is make videos about people. He makes fun of people. Little does he understand that, he has, no life. He spends more time worrying about me and worrying about other gamers, including that person who is deathly ill mentally, that Hector guy who likes to do comics and whatnot. The problem is these people are so sad. They hang around the same people over and over again because they have no friends. They have no life. And the only entertainment they have are themselves. Most of them don't have women, don't have wives, and if they do, they never spend any time with them or their kids. It's disgusting. I've taken it upon myself to worry more about, my work, my pet, my home, and my personal life. A lot of people, including on my friends list on Facebook, they like to glorify themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Everybody always says, well, why doesn't Rudy show his cars? Why doesn't Rudy show his items, where he goes to eat, things that he does with his girlfriends or girlfriend, etc., his family, his dog? I'll tell you why. Because I don't need all you motherfuckers trolling me and following me around. The smartest thing I do is keep myself as private as possible. And we got losers like William who have no life in Canada watching every move that people do because he stalks people. It's just stupid. I never realized how bad he was until I actually cut him off as a friend and how he started crying to people and says, I'm going to do everything I can to destroy Rudy J. Ferretti. Seriously, dude? Grow the fuck up, you loser. Seriously, it's ridiculous. It's not that big of a deal. Move on with your loser, pathetic life. You and your little wife that works all the time while you sit home and do nothing playing with fucking clocks, playing with your computer, and taking dirty pictures of your underage daughter. Okay? Slob. So, his thing is, if Rudy's not doing anything or showing anything, he's got nothing going on. Got lots of things going on. I just don't fucking worry about bragging it to everybody like idiots on my Facebook do. Look at me, I got this big house, I'm doing all these great things. My husband, my boyfriend loves me so much. Everything is so great. The fuck out of here. That's a lie. Let me tell you what the reality is on Facebook. Yeah, I got a good wife. I got a good girlfriend. I got a good husband. I got a good boyfriend. Oh, we have problems. Sure, we've had fights. Oh, sure, I've wanted to kick her or him out a couple of times. My car broke down last week. Sometimes things are great at work. Sometimes they're not. No, not everybody likes me at work. I'll tell you everybody does. That's a lie. I have no enemies, only friends. That's a lie. I hope people are getting advice from this. Like, don't be somebody you're not on Facebook. You're having a fucking bad day? Say it. Things are not going well in your life? Admit it. It's okay. It's okay, because things are up and down in life. Nothing's perfect. Okay? I don't need to go on Facebook and tell you what I ate 5 hours ago. I don't need to tell you my location 20 minutes ago. I don't need to show you my new car, or where I live, or my location. I don't need to brag about every great accomplishment that I do. That's not me. I like to be real. I'm having a problem with somebody, I'll post it. I have a problem with a family member, I'll post it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to be like you people. Love and laugh right now. Yeah, right. You know, when you over brag and you over explain yourself, you know what that means, don't you? Yeah, exactly. Me, I've got nothing to prove. You know, the only thing people can say, well, he never did Tetris. Well, maybe one day I will. Right now, I've been carving pumpkins. So, that's really what I've been up to. But that's why the scene is a joke and why the scene will continue to fail. Until we come to a world where everybody comes together and gets notoriety equally for everything they do, whether the game is popular or not, and making sure they take care of the people that matter the most, it's never going to go anywhere. There's some hope with esports. Could take classic gaming to the next level, but there's no way to tell for sure. But it seems like these days so many people are just out for themselves. You get more notoriety by taking care of yourself than worrying about other people. And the sad thing is when people hate you, they do whatever they can to destroy you. When I've gone after people and go to destroy them, like Patrick, who's completely destroyed in the gaming scene, there was a reason for that. And it was a good fucking reason why myself and others did that. There was a reason why we went after Twin Galaxies in the past. There was a reason why we said things the way we said them about people. It wasn't for no reason. A lot of these people did it for no reason because they wanted their own notoriety and their own respect. So they would pretend to be something they're not, destroy people for no good reason whatsoever to gain fortune, fame, and notoriety. It's disgusting. The same thing's happening in Washington. And I'm going to tell you right now, just like why Twin Galaxies and the classic gaming scene is failing, the same reason why the 2020 election is already going to go either all 50 states for Donald J. Trump, or he's just going to win in some kind of a big landslide. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who he goes against. You know? And I don't even need to even go into that. But this is episode 1, and I'll be back with more, you know. And I want people to learn that from me. Like, when you pretend to be something you're not, you might as well not live. You might as well just give up on yourself. Because if you have to lie your way through life every day to pretend to be something you're not, or hurt other people that have never done anything to you, I'm not talking about the people that have done things to me, you know, you've got a serious mental problem and you should seek medical help. It's just as bad as where I've had in my life compulsive liars, people that I've loved very much, cared about very much, and have had that issue with people in my own personal life. It's bad enough when I have to deal with people like you in the gaming scene that love to lie, love to pretend to be something you're not, and love to use people for your own gain. That's not me. I can't sleep at night doing that to fucking people. I will go after you if you fuck with me personally for no fucking reason, but I'm not going to go after you just because I don't like you or just because I want to gain notoriety over you. What the fuck do I care what you've done or what you've done better than me or the same as me? Like, you know, posting all day. Look at me, I did this today. Look, my oldest. How pathetic. You post pictures all day long like your life is perfect. You talk about only, you know, you glorify your kids. You glorify your lives. You pretend to be more than what you're not. You know the people I love the most on my friends list, for instance, on Facebook? The people that actually live normal lives. and tell the truth where they're having a bad day. They're not feeling well. They lost a loved one. Not the people that act all perfect every fucking day like there's nothing wrong. Doesn't exist. It's a fantasy world. Nobody's even perfect financially. Even tomorrow, if I became rich, my life still wouldn't be perfect financially. You know why? Because there's certain things money cannot buy. And a lot of people don't understand that. Only the bunch of these losers that are in the classic gaming scene think money buys everything. I just wanted money because I got tired of playing and being the greatest gamer for free. And I'm sure Tim Zerbe felt the same way. I'm sure Bill Bastable felt the same fucking way. I'm sure a lot of people. Although the curtain's coming crashing down on these people, it's not enough. It's not enough. We have hopes that hopefully eventually, Twin Galaxies will totally close its doors, lose all of its credentials, make no money, That's why Hollywood's failing. Not only does Hollywood not support the president, they support all the criminal activity, the bad people coming here, and everything else. They're supporting the left side to no end. Nobody wants to go see their fucking movies anymore. It's the same thing with classic gaming. People like William and all these losers, Hector, they're not gamers. Nobody wants to go play and have competition, have fun with people that are just a bunch of lowlives. Nobody. Nobody. But before I go, I am going to do some bragging because I'm not an artist by any means. Well, I am a gaming artist and I can act and I can sing, but I every once in a while I like to do crafts, and so this is a version of the Halloween One Pumpkin version 2. This is not the one that you see on the TV screen. When you see the credits, that's the second one that was never put into the movie, and then this one is more like the original version, the closest I was able to get it, and I carved this by hand, and I think I did a damn good job. Of course, it looks really fat when I put it up to the screen, just like my face would, or especially people that look like a fucking pear that fell out of a tree that's 400 or 500 times the size of it, especially when they go and do their last wrestling match, huh? This one is blue. No, you cannot come to my house and get vegan candy. It's blue. It doesn't go very well with my screen here, but that's okay. It's totally blue, and that's the Halloween 2 opening version of the pumpkin, and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I worked really hard on these, and I had a lot of fun. I have some real pumpkins that I'm also dealing with right now that I have over there in the corner that I have to bleach and all that stuff. I really like this too. I got this last year for a really good price, and the lights are actually orange. It's my tree, and I can put it on a timer and whatnot. The fucking batteries exploded over the last year that I've had it, and things like that. Nothing's perfect. I go through stuff, aches, pains, anxiety. I've I've gone to the hospital in the past. I've had things happen to me. I've been ill at times. I've gone through mental breakdowns like a lot of people have. Nobody is perfect. People get sick, people get ill, people get sad, people get depressed. There's no such thing as a perfect life. You have great times with your loved ones, you have bad times, sometimes there's bad breakups, and by the way, I wanted to touch base on that. A lot of people felt that when I was with Aida and, whatever, honestly, that was for the better. It does suck. We were together over 15 years. Of course, William once again thinks because of the comments I made and stuff that he thinks that, that's the reason her and I ended. What happened was in my next location where I live now, Aida came with me for the drive. She paid for everything. It was very nice of her. But at the same time, it was tough. I had moved. I lived in several different places, and I was paying a lot of money out of pocket for where I was living while my home was being built. There was a lot of shit going on. And unfortunately, I kind of took it about myself mostly to lose touch with her little by little. I didn't pay attention to her much last summer, and somebody else came into my life, luckily, and we've had our ups and downs too, just like anybody else. But things are okay. Aida and I didn't leave on bad terms. We didn't leave on good terms. What happened with me and Aida basically, is just we grew apart, and it was just time to move on. She needed to stay where she was in order to worry about her place, and she's having trouble right now selling her home. And anybody can look up that we lived next to Al Qaeda and knows not to live there. Why would anybody want to live there? You know. And I'm hoping she doesn't sell, and I'll tell you why. Because of what she put me through. It's not about that we broke up. It's how we broke up. In the end, it was tough. All I cared about was being her friend, and I couldn't even get that because her little, pipsqueak boss de plane boyfriend decided to not let her talk to me. And that's his choice. Whatever, they're together. Whatever. You know, it was her idea at first to move with me where I went, and we were going to start a new life together, and that didn't happen. And that's okay. You know, it's for the better. I'm now with somebody that's more sexually compatible with me. I'm with somebody that's more overall compatible with me. And she has her own issues. I have my own issues, but it all works out. And I think everything in life happens for a reason. And it's made me a better person. I've been taking care of my pet, and I give her the world. I treat her really good. I do everything I can, and nothing's perfect. I've taken her to the hospital before because she ingested something she shouldn't have. So no matter how perfect you do in life, things happen. But she is doing great. She's in perfect weight. She's portion controlled. She's fed the best food money can buy. She's got her own bed, coats, mitts, holistic treats. I give her an egg once a week for her coat. I do everything I can for my pet. My pet is basically my child, and if anybody was ever to hurt my child, I would have no problem doing whatever means necessary to defend or protect my child. To you, you might say a dog or an animal is not a child. Well, fucking to me it is. Um, I'm proud of where I've gotten myself to on my own. And of course, now that I have somebody else in my life, of course, I have some help now, but I've learned to appreciate other things than material things. What's more important is my health, taking care of myself, eating right, exercising. And this last year, it hasn't been that great because I went through a very bad time last year. As a matter of fact, not last year, it was May 27th, my 40th birthday. I was out shooting baskets, having a great time, and I got bit by a tick, and I caught obviously some kind of illness or some kind of disease. And I was down from May all the way sometime through July, and I was on antibiotics for a month. Gained a couple of pounds, lost a couple of pounds. Haven't been back to the gym since, so I'm doing a lot of walking, a lot of other things. Haven't been lifting as much, and that's all right. When that happened, it really took a toll on me. And my plan at that time was to do the sub-minute, 4-minute mile. So probably now I'm probably going to try to go for the fastest walk in the world. But again, it doesn't matter. It's my own personal stuff. If I decide to do, I'll do. Other things are going good otherwise. They could be better. But, overall, I can't complain. I'll just say that. And obviously the show is going to be better without Josh. Josh was hit or miss all the time. I got tired of it. I needed to do my own thing. And I was told that by several people, do your own thing, and I never really thought I could. But after this first episode, I think I can do my own thing. I don't need a co-host. And going into, the holiday season, Halloween is obviously one of my favorite holidays. So I've been watching like one horror movie a night. And, it's great. It's great to see that Hulu and Netflix and all that stuff are having the classics on. I bought a bunch of classics, actually. So I've been watching a lot of good things. I got the collection of Friday the 13th. I have it on tape, but I don't have it here. It's at my mom's house in storage. I got a bunch of ones. I got Misery. I got some of the Halloween movies here. I got all the Nightmares. I got Freddy's Nightmares collection, the old series. I just got a copy of the Great Pumpkin Anniversary Edition. It's got some extra stuff on it. I've got what I need. I've got all my games. I just don't have my cartridges. I sold all my cartridges because I felt like I was not going to have the room or space for it. And lo and behold, I fucking moved somewhere and I have a brand new place and I have more than enough room for all my shit. That shit happens. When the market crashes, I'll buy it all back. That's basically it. Well, thanks for watching the first episode. Not sure when I'll do the next. Since I'm solo, I got to come up with an agenda. But I want you guys to be on the lookout for all that. And like I said, support the president. He's doing a great job. The country is in the best shape it's ever been. You'd have to be a fucking idiot not to. Nobody's going to beat him anyway, so you guys can all penetrate, and then the loser out in Denton, Texas can puke in his mouth the second time. Thanks again. Appreciate it.